people? LP2000 right back at you with another video. Yes. Welcome back, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Collect All Monsters. And yeah, I'm back again with another S Plus figure review. A double S Plus figure review. You already clicked the title, you already know who we're covering in this video. So without further ado, let's dive head first into this awesome X Plus double figure review. And today we take a look at the X Plus 30cm and 25cm standard editions of the super atomic dinosaur himself, Gorosaurus, based off his appearance in the super cool kaiju flicks from 1967 and 1968. King Kong escapes, as well as Destroy All Monsters. As you can see, I have the beautiful figures here in all their glory. Once again, he is beautiful. Yes. And you know, we do things around here. Normally we would go into the box or the packaging before we get to the figures, but I have since trashed the boxes for both figures. Once again, we've been through this before. We've been through this before, at least as of late, where I'm getting to the point where I need to trash my boxes. I hate to do it because I feel like the packaging of these figures, especially the figures that come with the awesome artwork on the boxes, right? I feel like it's a part of the figure, it's a part of the package. So letting that go, in a way, it's kind of like, you know, letting go part of the figure. But once again, I'm getting to the point where I am going to get more figures, bigger figures, as a matter of fact. And I need, you know, the space, all the space I can muster for these awesome figures I have coming down the pipeline. That's coming real soon. So it's better to have space for a figure, a brand new figure, than a box. So unfortunately, I don't have the packaging for the figures. Besides, it's about the figures, right? They what matter most. So the purpose of this video is really two major reasons why I'm doing this video. First and foremost, I know a great friend of mine and fellow YouTuber, YouTuber, Matt Jacobson, but you may know him better as Gojira851. Yes, my brother from another mother. He is a huge Gorosaurus fan. You know, he loves this monster, you know. I don't really know the reason why. I don't think he and I have had a conversation about that in depth. But I do know he loves this monster. He's a huge fan of Gorosaurus, like I know a lot of people out there are. A lot of people love this monster. The same way he feels about Gorosaurus, I feel about Titanosaurus. I think maybe the reason is because sometimes you have these monsters that have like these one-time appearances, or you know, they don't have a lot of appearances in these kaiju films as of late. You know, Gorosaurus, Titanosaurus, Megalon. It's those monsters that have a limited appearance and sometimes have the bigger impression on you. So that's the reason why I believe he loves Gorosaurus that much. The same reason why I love Titanosaurus that much. You know, we just love these awesome dinosaurs, you know. And another reason is because, you know, these figures have been out for a while. I'll go into that later, or in a few seconds, I should say. But with the new stuff that's coming at the time of this recording that we know of, as far as like S Plus, you know, the new gigantic FSL 54, we know that's coming. The new 25cm Mothra 92, we know that's coming. The 25cm Rodan 2019, you know. The awesome Death of Reals that, you know, that are coming, you know, Biollante, the new Gamma 1999, the new Sarazawa, you know, whatever. There's lots of new stuff that's coming, awesome stuff that's coming. And it's very easy to really look at the newer stuff without really appreciating the older stuff that we have gotten into our collections over the years. And Gorosaurus, both figures of the Gorosaurus from S Plus is awesome. So it's nice to go back and reflect on the past figures that maybe we haven't forgot about in favor of the new stuff. So that's the two major reasons why I wanted to do this S Plus double figure review for today. And upon doing research of Gorosaurus, as far as S Plus is concerned, he has had a fair share of releases over the years. Now, with the 30cm version, the first version came out, or at least the first release of this figure, I should say, came out in 2008. Then it was reissued as a resin kit where you can build and paint it yourself in 2010. Then it was released through Diamond Distributors in 2014, which is the figure I have here. This is a Diamond reissue. Then it was reissued at a Wonderfest. I forgot which Wonderfest it was and what year it was, but it was reissued as the 1968 Gorosaurus from Destroy All Monsters. Now, the one I have here from Diamond, this is the one that's painted from King Kong Escapes. There's a difference. They both have the same sculpts, right? But the paint jobs really signify his appearance in both of the films. You see what I'm saying? Now, the 25cm version, that came out, the first one came out in 2012. The Rick exclusive accessory for that figure came with a little small sub from King Kong Escapes, you know, the Explorer. That was the Rick feature for that figure. Then it was reissued again as a Rick exclusive release in 2015, but it was painted the Destroy All Monsters colors, which is the figure I have here. This actually is the 2015 reissue. Then it was brought out again late 2018 when they had this large, big box set where they brought out basically every single 25 centimeter from Destroy All Monsters in honor of the 50th anniversary of the film at the time. You know, Godzilla, Gorosaurus, Rodan, Mothra, Anguirus, you know, whatever, Manda, whatever, and a new Flying King Ghidorah, which you have seen before. So they put all that into this awesome box set, along with that awesome Mount Fuji backdrop, right? And Gorosaurus was reissued there. So once again, Gorosaurus has had his fair share of releases as far as like X Plus is concerned, but still, through it all, he is still one of the most elusive and sought after figures as far as like X Plus pures is concerned. And I was lucky to get my hands on the 30, because I got my hands on the 30 back in 2014 when the Diamond deal, at least when the Diamond figure first got released. I got the 25 centimeter, I want to say early 2020 from another collector, which I didn't think I was going to get my hands on the 25 centimeter version. Because I think between the two, I think the 25 is more elusive. They're both elusive, don't get me wrong, but I think the 25 centimeter is more elusive than the 30. But the fact I was able to get my hands on both of them when I didn't think I was going to get my hands on either one of them, since he is very elusive and he is very rare, if you do find him, you're going to spend some money for him. But I'm glad to finally have both Gorosauruses, at least Gorosaurus, in my collection, you know. And that's the backstory with, you know, the X Plus release dates, you know, for like the X Plus Gorosaurus 25 and the 30. And that's how I got my hands on them. So without further ado, let's get up close and personal with both versions of the 25 centimeter and 30 centimeter Gorosaurus. As you can see here, both figures are amazing. The sculpts are amazing. They both are very similar, you know. Now, as far as like the size is concerned, now the sizes between the two monsters is kind of the same in a way, even though the 25 centimeter is a little bit shorter. But I was kind of taken aback when I got the 30 when I first got it, because it is a 30 centimeter figure. He makes up for it not in height, but in bulk. You see what I'm saying? Kind of like the Heisei versions of Gamera, at least the 95 and 96, I should say. With Gorosaurus at the 30, you know, he makes up for, like I said, in his mass and his girth or whatever, but he's not a true 30 centimeter figure. He's probably like around the 10 inches or 11 inches mark, you know. But he still is a great figure. I think the 25 centimeter, he's like at 9 inches, hovering around the 10 inches mark, you know, whatever. But the size between both Gorosaurus figures are amazing. Now, the detail on the skin, that's another thing. That's another reason why I love S Plus figures so much. They apply so much attention to detail, just to the smallest of details. You know, like when it comes to the Godzilla figures, especially from the Showa period, there's a few figures, like the 71, I know for sure, that has like a small little incision on the back of Godzilla's dorsal plates that signifies, you know, the actor. That's a zipper where the actor would go in and out of the suit, right? So it's small little attention to details like that, which is why I love X Plus, which is why I'm an avid supporter of X Plus. And when it comes to the skin texture of Gorosaurus here, as well as other dinosaur figures that they have done, or dinosaur-like creatures that they have done, like Titanosaurus, Rodan, Anguirus, you know, whatever, Baragon, you know, they apply the same type of detail with the reptilian skin on both Gorosaurus figures here. It's like every little reptilian morsel, every piece of reptilian skin is like it's individually sculpted, you know, and it looks really, really, really good. Just the texture on both these figures are amazing, you know, and I really do enjoy that. Now, let's go with the paint job. Now, the paint job on the 25 centimeters is a little bit lighter in color. They're both relatively the same, where it has like that unsaturated dull color green, almost like a bluish green. It's darker on the 30 centimeter version, right? But it has more like a lighter texture on the 25 centimeter version, which I think, like I said, is to signify how Gorosaurus look changed from King Kong Escapes to Destroy All Monsters. Now, I haven't seen both films in a while. It's been a minute. So, off the top of my head, I don't recall Gorosaurus looking any really different in Destroy All Monsters from King Kong Escapes. You know, maybe I should rewatch the films again. I know I will at some point. But maybe he did go through some changes. You know, maybe he did have a little lighter paint job change or modifications from King Kong Escapes to Destroy All Monsters, but on memory, I don't really recall seeing like a major change. But once again, if it is true and the suit got a little bit lighter, which I can understand because it was a year later from King Kong Escapes, and having been through the rigors of production of King Kong Escapes and then going where he went through Destroy All Monsters, I can see that. I can see that 25 centimeter, at least the 68 version of Gorosaurus had lighter colors, whatever. So maybe it is spot on. If it is, kudos to S Plus for making that happen. But like I said, both figures have a dull, unsaturated color of green, bluish green on the majority of his body. Like I said, the 25 centimeter has the lighter colors. Both figures featured like a light tannish color on the underbelly of his body. It stretches from the throat area to his chest, all the way up to the underbelly of his body to the tip of his tail, which looks really amazing. The claws and the toenails on both really looks awesome. It's more dark in color on the 30 centimeter version, I should say, where it's more lighter in color on the 25. The stinger on the tails of both monsters look really good. It's surprising that he never used it as a weapon in the film, but he never did. But still, the stinger, the bone thing on the tip of both tails of the Gorosaurus figures here look awesome. I guess the dorsal plates, I guess you want to call them dorsal plates, or the spines on both Gorosaurus figures looks really amazing. The same color is applied, like I said, to the stinger of the tails. So from the sculpt, the paint job, to the actual just pose of Gorosaurus, the eyes look really awesome. It looks really great. Now it's more of a reddish color on the 30 centimeter version and more lighter red color on the mouth in the 25 centimeter version. But both figures are great. Both figures are awesome, and if you can find either of these figures for a great price, and if you're a fan of Gorosaurus, please go after these figures. You would not be disappointed. Now, you're probably asking, which one of the two do I enjoy more? Which one is my favorite? And honestly, I actually love the 30 centimeter version more. Even though I've been hunting the 25 centimeter version more so than the 30. You see what I'm saying? Between the two, I want the 25 centimeter version more, because in my opinion, he's more elusive than the 30. But I have to say, in terms of like the paint job, really it's the paint job on the 30 that really gets me more into the 30 as my favorite of the two, even though I love them both, don't get me wrong. But if I had to pick one, I hate to say it, but then again, I don't. I love the 30 centimeter version of Gorosaurus. But both figures are awesome. Don't get that twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Both figures are amazing, even though I kind of gravitate more towards the 30. But it's pretty much a simple review. Gorosaurus is pretty much a simple figure, whatever. But still, the amount of detail they put into the skin texture. I'm going back to that, ladies and gentlemen. The skin texture, just the way they applied it, the way they sculpted it, the way they applied the paint job to it, the underbelly it's just an overall great figure. And it's a figure that I don't see get talked about that much, which is a shame. Like I said in the intro of this video, it's easy to look at of the new stuff that's coming. Like I said, the new Gigantic 54, Mothra, Rodan, the multiple awesome Defo Rails that are coming. Not to mention what else may be coming down the pipeline from S Plus that we don't know about just yet. But once again, it's nice to go back into the archives and look at the past figures that we have accumulated into our collection. And also it's great to try and hunt these figures down if you don't have it. Because it's very easy nowadays to get this new S Plus figure from that place or eBay or whatever. But I think it's also something to be said that also when it comes to being a collector, it's like the thrill of the hunt. It's all about hunting that figure that we don't see that often, that you can't easily have access to. Those moments are kind of like gone. It's like a lost art, But he's still out there for a good price. You just have to hunt for him, look for him, maybe more so Armando Raque and Bailly. But he is out there. And if you're able to find either one of these figures for a good price, especially if you're a fan of Gorosaurus from King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters, please go after these figures. You would not be disappointed. Yes. That's pretty much it. Well, close and personal with both Gorosaurus figures from X Plus, the 25 and the 30. So let's do two size comparisons. As a matter of fact, I actually put both of these figures in separate size comparisons. And appropriately, it's from the major film appearances of Gorosaurus from King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters. So let's go with the first size comparison with the 30 centimeter Gorosaurus, and let's see him in my King Kong Escape setup. So let's go with that first size comparison right now. Okay, folks, this is the first size comparison, and yes, we're focusing on the X Plus 30 centimeter standard edition of Gorosaurus. Yes, and you already know this setup from King Kong Escapes, my most favorite King Kong film of all time. Of course, you already know that, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you've seen this setup on my channel before. This is my Mark Sang-yang King Kong Escape setup. Originally, it came with a giant-sized version of Kong, expertly made and custom detailed by the great Mark Sang-yang. But he also made this island base, you know. So sometimes I kind of fluctuate between my King Kong setups here. And of course, the King Kong right there, yes he is, that awesome guy right there was made by Roto Kaiju. Yes, Beto Matali and of course Steve Sarajoli of the Giant Gorilla 1967, also known as King Kong 1967 from King Kong Escapes. And as you can see here, he looks perfect. This is a perfect setup. Now, mind you, the helicopter that you see in the background, which is awesome by the way, the helicopter was never in the same scene as Gorosaurus here. But still, it's a nice setup, you know, with a little mini figure of Susan Watson right there at the bottom. And once again, this is awesome. This is great. Now, mind you, Gorosaurus was basically made in response to the original T-Rex fight from the original King Kong. Eiji Tsuburaya, you know, the master of special effects. Yes, the guy that pioneered the special effects from tokusatsu, for tokusatsu, started with the original Godzilla film and so on. He was heavily inspired by King Kong. You know, the whole movie of King Kong 1933 was heavily inspired in the creation of the original Godzilla. And from what I understand, Tsuburaya loved that T-Rex fight, just like I know a lot of folks do. We love that fight from the 33 King Kong. So he wanted to recreate this scene when he was doing this film of King Kong Escape. So he couldn't obviously make just an ordinary T-Rex. He had to up the ante a little bit. And thus Gorosaurus was born. So basically Gorosaurus was basically his answer to the 33 film, or at least an homage to it, you know. And it was a good fight scene. You know, it was back and forth. It wasn't a one-sided affair until Kong got the upper hand. Then he beat Gorosaurus to death. But it was still a great fight scene to open the film in an otherwise awesome film. You know, King Kong Escapes, like I said, I love the film. It's my favorite. It doesn't take a while to get going and get straight to the action. And you get that with this awesome fight scene between Gorosaurus and King Kong here, you know. And like I said, I had a little mini figure of Susan Watson right there in the foreground, you know, where Gorosaurus menaces her, and then her screams bring about Kong from the jungle, and they had that epic fight. So it's nice to have this setup here of the X Plus 30cm Gorosaurus with the awesome Roto Kaiju Giant Gorilla or King Kong 1967 from King Kong Escape. So that's it with the first size comparison, and we're done with the 30. So let's go with his 25cm counterpart, and let's go with the last size comparison with all the monsters along with Gorosaurus from his epic return in 1968, Destroy All Monsters. So let's go with that final size comparison with all the monsters, 25cm scale from X Plus from Destroy All Monsters right now. Okay, folks, this is the last size comparison, and now it is a 25cm version of Gorosaurus. It's time to shine. Yes, yes, yes. And yes, as you can see here, this is an awesome setup. The full awesome lineup, 25cm scale, courtesy of X Plus, of all the monsters from the 1968 classic, Destroy All Monsters. And of course, we got the man in the hour in the middle, the 25cm Gorosaurus. At least one of the men in the hour, I should say. So let's count them down. Right down the foreground, we have the 25cm Manda and Mothra. We have Kamunga right there in the middle. To the right of him, or left of him, whatever, we have Anguirus. Above him is Rodan. And right there in the back, the big baddie of the film, at least one of the big baddies, King Ghidorah, 1968, the original King Ghidorah, 25cm version, of course. Right next to him, we have Minya, Godzilla's son, the King of Monsters himself, of course, Godzilla. Right next to him, we have Baragon, and we have, finally, Varan, the 25cm Varan. Now, of course, Varan, as well as Rodan, they're not pretty much the same monsters from the film, you know, because Rodan is from 1964, of course, Ghidorah, three-headed monster, and this Varan, obviously, is from his 1958 debut appearance, you know. But the setup still works with these monsters, because they have not produced a 25cm 68 Rodan just yet. They done a 25cm Varan, but it was the puppet version, you know, that came with the, I want to say it came with the Baragon and Varan set Volume 2 from Destroy All Monsters, you know. But honestly, I don't have that figure. And number two, I don't really like that version of Varan as far as like the puppet. I want to have the full scale version of the monster, even though the monster didn't make any kind of appearance, at least a suit wise, in the film. What we saw in the film, as far as Varan is concerned, was actually the puppet. But as far as like setups here, this is the perfect setup from Destroy All Monsters. Like I said, all 25cm figures, all figures from X Plus. And for the longest time, because when I first started out, obviously I didn't have any of these figures. As a matter of fact, I wasn't really feeling the 25cm figures as a whole anyway. I wanted more so the bigger figures, the 30cm, the gigantics, obviously. But I kind of strayed away from the 25s, you know. And I never thought in a million years that I would get all of the monsters from Destroy All Monsters in 25cm scale. For a while before I had Gorosaurus here, I used a 30cm Gorosaurus and try to fluctuate between the 30s and the 25s to have a good setup, which was good at the time. But at the same time, I was able to hunt these figures down, and all the figures are in perfect scale with each other. All of them, you know, with aside from Rodan, maybe Varan, they're all from the movie, you know. So this is the perfect setup to Destroy All Monsters. And I consider this like a major collecting milestone or accomplishment. Because once again, I didn't think I was going to get my hands on at least one of these figures, let alone all of them. But here you are. As you can see here, all 11 monsters from this epic film with Destroy All Monsters, courtesy of X Plus 25cm scale, is right here before your eyes. So this is living proof. It's not a question of if you get something, but if you work hard and put the legwork in to find what you're looking for, it's only a question of when. And this shot is living proof. Once again, all the monsters from the 25cm scale, courtesy of X Plus, of Destroy All Monsters. And honestly, I think my last remaining piece to make this shot complete was ironically the Gorosaurus. He was the last one remaining 25cm piece that I was missing to have the complete setup here of this epic movie. And as you can see, it is finally complete. So that's it with all the size comparison with the 30 as well as the 25cm Gorosaurus. As you can see, I have them both set up with both of the movies that the suit appeared in, you know, and both setups look awesome in my opinion. Yes, they do. So without further ado, let's go to my final commentary portion. Let's finally talk about and finish off this review, or this double figure review, of the X Plus 25cm and 30cm standard editions of Gorosaurus. Let's talk about his role in King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters. So let's go to that final commentary portion of the video right now. Okay, folks, I'm back on my final thoughts of the X Plus 25cm as well as 30cm Gorosaurus figure standard editions based on his appearance in the super cool kaiju flicks from 1967 and 1968, King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters. Once again, great figures. Great figures. Once again, if you can find them for a good price, and even that's going to be challenging. Like I said, he's one of the most elusive and most sought after figures as far as like S Plus is concerned. And I know he's out there, but once again, you're going to have to hunt for him. You have to look for him. You have to try to find the best deals. And if you can find him for a good price. Hopefully you can. But he's going to be up there in price. But hopefully you can find one for a good price. And if you're a fan of Gorosaurus, of his appearance in King Kong Escapes, and or Destroy All Monsters, you can't go wrong with either one of these figures. You know, this is awesome. Both figures are amazing. Now, I know when it comes to Gorosaurus, he may not be a major player in terms of the classic tokusatsu game. He may not have the longevity of a Mothra or a Rodan or King Ghidorah or Mechagodzilla, right? Maybe even the popularity of even more rare monsters like Hedra or Gigan, right? Those monsters, kind of like Gorosaurus, only appeared in like 1 or 2 films, but yet their popularity is off the chain, right? I think Gorosaurus kind of falls into that category, you know? So in my opinion, he does have a role. He does have a cool role in the tokusatsu game. Once again, he may not be up there with King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, and Rodan, but he still is a cool player nonetheless. And when you think about when we first saw him in King Kong Escapes, right? As I mentioned earlier, Gorosaurus was basically made because, you know, Eiji Tsuburaya wanted to recreate the T-Rex fight from the 33 film of King Kong, right? And he wanted to incorporate that into King Kong Escapes. And, you know, we all seen the film, you know, where, you know, the 3 protagonists, you know, Susan Watson, Nomura, and the captain, I forgot his name. I should know his name, but Captain Nelson, yeah, Commander Nelson. and they go to Kong's Island. Of course, I'm going to spoiler alert because I'm sure by now you've already seen King Kong Escapes and Destroy All Monsters, so I'm not really breaking any new ground here. But we all seen the movie where they go to Mondo Island, Kong's home, and they're trying to find Kong or whatever. And the two men, they just decide to leave this woman, this poor defenseless woman, in the jungle all alone. And out of nowhere, here comes Gorosaurus. You know, here comes Gorosaurus and just menaces her. Basically the same way the T-Rex menaces Anne in the original film. And like, you know, the original King Kong, you know, where Anne screams, you know, at the sight of this hungry dinosaur wanting to eat her and kill her like Gorosaurus does to Susan. Her screams brings about Kong, and Kong comes to the rescue. And here you have this great battle where you have two monsters, one that wants to kill the woman and one who wants to save the woman. And, you know, I mean, when you look at Gorosaurus, now he may not be like a great hand-to-hand fighter because he don't really use his hands because his arms are very small. His arms are very small, kind of Shin Godzilla-like. So it's not like he's going to be picking up things or grabbing things or striking things. But believe it or not, when I first saw the film, that's what I thought about when I first saw King Kong Escapes. Right? I'm like, how this dinosaur is going to defend himself? He has that awesome kangaroo kick. That awesome kangaroo kick that comes out of nowhere, you know, when Kong charges him and Gorosaurus just stands right there. I'm like, Gorosaurus, you better do something. He's going to tackle you. What you going to do? And he just jumps up in midair and just gives him an awesome kangaroo kick with enough force to send King Kong down. And he does it multiple times, and it actually frustrates Kong. You can see Kong get really frustrated, like, okay, you're going to stop kicking me now. Which was a good fight. It really was a good fight. You know, it wasn't too long, you know, whatever. It could have been longer, you know, whatever. But still, I thought it was a good fight to set off the chain of events of King Kong Escapes. Because it's monster action really that goes throughout the film, you know. And it starts with that awesome fight scene with King Kong Escapes, with King Kong fighting Gorosaurus. And some will argue that Gorosaurus is probably the best thing of King Kong Escapes. Because let's face it, even though I love the King Kong suit, I love the suit from King Kong Escapes. It's not the best looking suit in the world, you know, even though I do love it despite its flaws. And some people say that actually Gorosaurus and or Mechanicon are the better looking monsters of the three monsters. I guess fourth when they count that silly looking sea snake. But they say Gorosaurus is probably the best looking monster of the film. And in terms of design, I can't really argue with that. Even though I love the Kong suit, but still, I can't objectively say that he's the best looking monster of the film. It either goes to Gorosaurus or Mechanicon. But Gorosaurus had a great outing in the opening fight scene of King Kong Escapes. Now let's go to the following film. But we're talking about 1968's Destroy All Monsters. Now, full disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, the Gorosaurus monster that appears in King Kong Escapes is not the same Gorosaurus monster that appears in Destroy All Monsters. Because in King Kong Escapes, King Kong and Gorosaurus are pretty much the same height as well as Mechanicon. And they're like 20 meters tall, which is like maybe 60 or 70 feet tall, right? Whereas the Gorosaurus in Destroy All Monsters is the same size as Godzilla, Rodan, and all those other monsters, right? And Godzilla is like 50 meters tall, like 156 feet tall, right? So even though it's the same suit, but modified between the two pictures, is not the same monster. Okay? Get it? Got it? Good. Now, but Gorosaurus does have a pivotal role in this film. Now, mind you, we do see him briefly when the monsters, you know, are unleashed or set free from Monsterland in Destroy All Monsters, and they go about various great cities around the globe to terrorize them, right? And we see Gorosaurus pop up in Paris. Now, even though it was blamed on Baragon, right? You actually see Gorosaurus, you know, crawl up out of the ground and destroy that tower thing or that monument thing in Paris, right? But that originally was made for Baragon. But since the suit was used so often in the various Ultraman shows at the time, they couldn't get the monster ready for the shot, so they substituted Gorosaurus in for that shot, right? And we don't really see Gorosaurus again until the final battle. And, you know, when all the monsters converge on, you know, Mount Fuji to really bring the fight to the Kilox at their alien base, at the base of Mount Fuji, then the aliens send in King Ghidorah to fight all the monsters. And King Ghidorah kind of holds his own, you know. He does hold his own against the monsters. Now, this is the thing. I know a lot of people love this fight scene and say it's the greatest fight scene because it's 10 against 1. It really isn't. It really isn't 10 against 1. 3 of the monsters were puppets. And they were spectators. They didn't really partake into the fight anyway. That was Manda, Baragon, and Varan. They were there, but they were puppets, and they didn't really participate in the fight. Rodan only like did his wind gust like maybe 1 or 2 times, and he flies away and disappears, and we don't see him again ever until the fire dragon shows up, right? Mothra and Kumonga, all they did was spray their web just twice, right? Minya kind of joins in a little bit, but really the 3 monsters that really bring the fight to King Ghidorah is Godzilla, Anguirus, and Gorosaurus. Now, like I said, King Ghidorah had the most of the fight in his grasp, right? He was holding his own. It was not until but one fighting move that turned the tide in favor of the Earth monsters. And remember, when King Ghidorah is, down and Godzilla got him by the neck, and Anguirus is gnawing at his tails or his feet or whatever, you kind of see Gorosaurus run behind King Ghidorah, and you're like, okay, what is he gonna do? And it's like they having a hard time trying to keep King Ghidorah immobilized. They're having a hard time keeping him grounded. But what does he do? The same awesome move that he did to King Kong in the previous year with that giant kangaroo kick. He rears back and get that awesome kangaroo kick with enough force to send King Ghidorah down. Yes, a monster that is twice as big as him. He kicked him with so much force, it kept King Ghidorah down in between Gorosaurus, Godzilla, and Anguirus, the way they were pounding on King Ghidorah and driving him into the ground, curb stomping, if you will, into the ground. That was more than enough. His main weakness was to keep him grounded. As long as he's upright, he's dangerous. But if you're able to keep him down and have him stay on the ground, he's defenseless, right? But it wasn't until that one move from Gorosaurus that turned the tide in favor of the Earth monsters. So Gorosaurus has some pivotal moments in both of the films. And as a matter of fact, I think he's one of the few monsters to ever appear in both a King Kong and a Godzilla film. I think Mechagodzilla, maybe a Skullcrawler, join that ranks too. But he's one of the very few monsters that can say, you know what, I appeared in the King Kong and Godzilla film. And that's awesome. And that's an awesome fact in and of itself. So if you're not seeing King Kong Escapes or Destroy All Monsters, please go out your way and try to watch it. It is awesome. It is a product of the times, right? Silly monster films. But still, it was a great set of films. And Gorosaurus had a lot to do how awesome and how fun those films are. So I can understand why Gorosaurus has an awesome following, He is a cool monster. Once again, he may have the star power of King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, maybe Gigan or whatever, but he is still a cool monster nonetheless. And once again, if you can find these figures for a good price, please go after them. You will not be disappointed. And that's all I have to say about that. So that pretty much concludes my X Plus double figure review of the 25cm as well as 30cm standard editions of everybody's super favorite atomic dinosaur with the awesome kangaroo kick. Yes. Gorosaurus, based on his super cool appearance in the super cool kaiju flicks from 1967 as well as 1968. King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters. If you have any questions, comment down in the comment section. Hit me on Facebook via Leslie Chambers. We'll definitely go from there. Yes! Oh my God, these figures are great. They are amazing. And I'm looking at them and I'm so amazed and astounded. I was able to get my hands on, both of these figures, let alone one of them. You see what I'm saying? But now I got my hands on both of them, I'm really proud of myself, Because for the longest time, I did not have any type of representation of Gorosaurus in my collection. And I so badly wanted one. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted the 25cm version first, or more so than the 30. But ironically, I ended up getting the 30cm version, then the 25. But now I have both of them. I'm really happy to have them. And as you can see here, there are stunning, basically perfect representations of Gorosaurus from King Kong Escapes as well as Destroy All Monsters. And once again, I know Gorosaurus may not be, up there in the upper echelon of the monsters that have the most longevity, like, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, Rodan, maybe Gigan, But he does have his place in history. Like I said earlier, not too many monsters that can say that, they were in a King Kong film as well as a Godzilla film. Not too many monsters can say that, but you know what? Gorosaurus can. So that's awesome for this character. Once again, he might be a major player, but he was a player nonetheless. So why don't you pop down in the comment section and let me know which of these figures do you find more superior, the 25 or the 30? Which one do you want to add to your collection first, the 25 or the 30? What was your favorite movie involving Gorosaurus? King Kong Escapes or Destroy All Monsters, whatever. Tell me what was your favorite Gorosaurus moment. Just tell me anything you want to tell me about your love and affection and admiration for this awesome kaiju of Gorosaurus. You know, let me know in the comment section so we can go back and forth with some conversation. But until then, if you can find both of these figures, or at least one of these figures, for a good price, especially if you're a Gorosaurus fan, and especially if you're a fan of his appearance in King Kong Escapes, as well as Destroy All Monsters, you cannot go wrong with these figures. Trust me when I say that. And go Jared F51. I hope I made you proud, good sir. Yes, yes, yes. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see y'all again on this figure move review. All right? Y'all take it easy.